I want to welcome everyone to Global Markets Radio Week Ahead. I'm your host, Andrew Spanton, 4:45 p.m. Eastern, December the 11th, 2011, Sunday. Big week ahead. Lots of data coming out, a litany, a ton. Not necessarily for the U.S., but a lot of data coming out worldwide, London in particular. China, we get the flash, HSBC. So I think these numbers, while they're going to be important, and events, we got the Swiss National Bank on Thursday, I believe. CPI data, which is going to start coming down. All that's going to mean is that they can start print more money. Bank of England coming out over the weekend saying that QE has not been so QE. Not very good. As far as the S&P, I think Friday we certainly I think the Europeans did squat. When you think about it, they got nothing done. They kicked the can down the road. The U.S. now is not going to be funding the IMF if it's going to bail them out. So that's not good. Newt Gingrich gaining in the polls, I don't know how great that is. He's a divider. He's not a uniter. I like a lot of things he stands for. Don't get me wrong. But I think, you got to lead by example. And the guy, 3 divorces. Was on his third wife. The third wife totally is a homewrecker. I just don't know how you get over that. But anyway, a lot of data. Tonight we got home loans out of Australia, trade balance. Look for that to be weaker. China, new home loans also. New loans. Money supply coming out. Federal budget tomorrow in the U.S. King speaking out of the Bank of England. Swiss unemployment level. That's all tonight. Tomorrow we got Japan tertiary. Look for Japan's numbers to probably be better in the rebuilding. Fukushima. Inflation data out of London on Tuesday, that's big. Look for that to fall off a cliff. Year-on-year CPI is supposed to head down to 4.8% from 5%. I look for that to head lower. DCLG House Price Index also coming out. That's a good one. German Zoo, all on Tuesday morning. U.S. retail sales, business inventories. Look for retail sales to be good. We got the FOMC on Tuesday. You know what they're going to say. We had to do it. We're here to backstop anything. We're here to save the world because we're the Fed. And I think I'll hint, if inflation stays low, they can keep printing. Turning to Wednesday, not much in Asia. London non-farm payroll, average earnings, supposed to only increase 2% from 2.3%. That's not good. Canadian numbers on Wednesday also. U.S. import prices, crude inventories, that's on Wednesday. Japan Tonkin on Thursday. HSBC flash on Thursday. Asia, big number there. RBA bulletin, could be interesting. We get flash manufacturing numbers out of Eurozone, Germany, France. It's all Thursday morning. Swiss press conference, monetary policy statement. They might up their target on Euro Swiss to 130. I don't think so. I got to tell you. At what point is the level appropriate given the European situation? I got to tell you. Can you imagine? Jimmy Rogers long the Swiss. You can't intervene forever. But again, it's a dead trade until you get some action. Can't fight the Fed, can't fight the S&P. Very tough. Thursday, retail sales out of London. That's a big one. inflation expectations also. Eurozone CPI, industrial order expectations also out of London. Draghi speaking, a lot of stuff on Thursday. U.S. unemployment, PPI, producer price index, and prime manufacturing, foreign flows of capital, capacity utilization, industrial production, and Philly Fed. Just out of the U.S. Big Thursday. You would think these numbers should be good. I think a lot of the European numbers are going to be terrible. I think the U.S. numbers are going to be decent at best. One good, one bad. I think foreign flows of capital is going to be very good. Numbers out of the U.S. have been better. People have been flocking to the dollar. So, you also want to keep your eye out about what's going on in the Middle East. I mean, things are heating up. I'll keep on saying it again, but it is. Even you look at what Gingrich did and the debate on Saturday. I mean, that's an incredible position to run on. Completely siding with the Israelis. Enough to stir the pot on the negative side. But, the Iranian drone that they took down, all sorts of speculation as far as what they had, the Russians, the Chinese helping them, the Russians, Chinese bidding on trying to get the technology. I mean, what the hell? It's almost like we're still at war. But big Thursday, the week should trend then. We should get followed through on Friday. If the market's going to go and have a year-end type rally, we're at 1255. It's got to close above 1277. We got to clear this tower. I know it took a long time to get to the charts, but hey, lots to talk about. I think U.S. Inflation numbers should be coming down. Food and energy, though, are going up. But Thursday's numbers should really show how bad things are. China numbers aren't getting good at all. Big problems in China. Exports to Europe collapsing. But you take a look at this S&P, and it's certainly kind of failed. Now, unless we can punch through 1277, then we should be clear sailing up to 1305, 1308. But I don't know if we're going to make that. I think there's still so much uncertainty. I think the Europeans did squat. It's a marathon. Well, how do we know who's going to win in the end? We don't. We don't know the Germans are going to do this. We don't know that the sovereignty issue is going to be bought by the people of all the countries. My dog agrees. Jets, baby. We'll take a look at this dollar index. It's holding 78. As long as we can hold this 78 level, hold the EMA, I think it's fine. You don't get the meltdown to the 20. And I think it's building a case for a break higher. And you look at where this dollar index has been, and you look at, I know the VIX has come in. The VIX certainly came back. Come on. I know the VIX is, bounced back a little, but still under 30. VIX is still under 30. And, you take a look at this dollar index, we get a real pop in fear because there should be. Not that the Fed's going to tell us anything on Tuesday, but still. I don't see why at some point this dollar cannot have a monster pop. It's due. They couldn't break it down. Stock market's stalling. Europe's falling off a cliff. Confidence is collapsing. The U.S. numbers have been actually kind of decent. And, where's the confidence? If you're a business leader, where's your confidence? That's the only way markets go up is when they can see the future. They see, all right, I understand the playing field. There's no rules yet. There's no playing field. So corporations aren't going to hire. The economy's going to struggle along. Then you got the whole tax situation with the payroll tax. Republicans holding the knife on the pipeline, which hey, Got to get something out of giving away $120 billion from Social Security. It's crazy. It really is nuts how any Republican can actually defend this. More debt. More debt. Maybe have like a means test. I don't know. But we look at this dollar yen. It's going nowhere. I know. I made a big hoopla out of it. But you know what? I know rates are staying low in the U.S. for a long time. But if the U.S. can start having better numbers, getting its act together, having more confidence, Japanese want to pull more money out of Europe. Capital flows have to be coming out of Europe from not, they're buying bonds to save the day, but investors still cannot be confident in Europe. And once again, I applaud. And again, dollar yen, I don't know. It's going to make a move. It's going to be out of the blue. I know everyone thinks I'm crazy, but it's going to make a move in the next week or two. Some sort of move. Maybe 1, 2, something like that. It's going to make a move. Confidence is high, even though it's a piece of crap. Looking at the euro, I don't like this weekly chart at all. I don't think this thing closed well at all. Here we had the bit down, bounce. You measure this move, we could collapse at the end of the year. Certainly, I think we take out previous week's low. And we'll look at like 129. If you measure the move from 131 to 142, we're down to 120. I'm not calling for that. But certainly 129, it's about 500 pips. I don't see why not. And this weekly chart, should we go near 132, say goodnight. Now, on the other side, if we can bust up above 135.70, 136, hey, that clears the way maybe to, the S&P goes up. Maybe we pop up to 139, but they got nothing done. I really thought they would. I think there's got to be a lot of disappointment out there. A lot of people disappointed. People that thought they were going to do a lot, they didn't. They got crap. Nothing. Weekly chart on my Euro Canada is certainly a hammer. Got to be a little on the nervous side, but I think it can easily double dip. Double dip down. My 134, I'm still intact. I would love a bounce. Let it bounce up to 138. Be great. I don't think it's going to. Euro sterling had a decent week. Came back a little bit. It was looking, if it closed down here at 185, it's going to look a lot worse. But I still think it's a sell-in strength. Especially the weekly looks terrible. Your yen looks terrible. Another one, inside candle. Any breach of 102.50, say goodnight. Over. Dollar Canada, weekly chart. Doji. Certainly Doji. I'll tell you, the Canadian numbers were not good. And this thing almost hit the channel line. Just about. I'm a BOPer. I'm a buyer on pullbacks. I'm not convinced this market's going anywhere. And again, commodities too. I don't know. They're not going to explode into the year end. I doubt it. Especially with CPI data coming in. Someone agrees with me. I always find it interesting how when I say things, then all of a sudden I get a beep out of the blue. Is that divine intervention? Why would you trade this dollar source? I mean, yeah, it's tradable, but last month it's gone nowhere. If anything, this thing's going to rip into the year end. That could be a year end trade. Closes at the highs, year end. Pound Swiss. They launch them into year end. I mean, these babies aren't going down. Big week this week for the SMB, in my opinion. Big week. But this pound Swiss, you can get a rip into the year end and then collapse. But how the Swiss franc is being allowed to manipulate. This thing was 115. It's now 145. That's sick. Crazy. But until the SMB comes out, we got to see what they say this week. Maybe there'll be a chink. Listen, this could clear the way for a year-end rally, for a year-end sell-off in the Swiss franc. Where am I going? So, big week this week in the Swiss. Big. Cable weekly chart looks terrible. Another one looks like it's going to roll over. Again, I like this euro sterling short, so this one's going to put up a fight. I think you sell the strength. Should not take out 58. Shouldn't even come close to it. Shouldn't take out previous week high, 57.50, around there. If we do, that could clear the way up to a move to 160. But London numbers, I don't think those are going to be good. And CPI is going to be lame. Average earnings going to only be up 2%. That's disgusting. Terrible. I'll tell you, this one, I don't know. I think it's a long. I do think it's a long, but I still think it's got to hit that 150. Stock market's got to come in. Stock market really breaks, this thing flies, especially with euro sterling going down, in my opinion. And the Aussie failed. Propeller pattern, doji, double D. I mean, listen, we take out, I guess, 102.50. Certainly could fly. I really wanted 106, but you know what? It pretty much failed. The numbers were not very good this week at all. I don't know what that is. But I think it's an SOS. Got selling strength. I think this whole move, this whole thing in the market based upon the euro, getting their act together, coming together with something. Another one. Doji. And they're not going to come up with anything this week. It's done. We got like no news now. As far as them pulling out a rabbit out of the hat. That was their shot. Oil certainly failed last week. Double top. Shooting star, I guess. Certainly toppy. Gold failed. And wedging even more. I mean, look at this monster wedge. And when lots of people along and there's a wedge, I get scared. I'd rather take the other side. Hell yeah. And that's pretty much it. All right, again, if you have any questions about any aspect of my business, my premium service, remember, no deals. Going to $200 a month starting the beginning of the new year. But I will be offering a premium junior. Premium junior is just access to my premium twits, research, emails, those of you that know what that means, and trade recommendations. No access to the chat room for only $50 a month or $500 for the year. I'm liking it. I'm going to do a nice promotion on it. Again, I'll be sending out a lot more twits, probably 10 a day minimum, and you'll be able to interact with me that way as well, and via email. I'm pretty good at interacting with people via email. I got my BlackBerry with me all the time, so very easy. Never go on iPhone. Oh, baby. So, again, I think this gold move, you get a nice move lower in gold. I think gold could come in this week. This is a big week. I think we got deflation at work. I think the markets have stabilized, but the Germans are kicking and screaming, and the Germans are reluctant to print money. That should be bearish for gold. All right, again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, info@globalfxradio.com. Andrew Spanton, Global Markets Radio, the only voice you'll ever need who truly loves to make you money. Have a good night and week. Look for my twits, Voice of Forex on Twitter, Voice of Forex on YouTube, and Voice of Forex on fan page and a Facebook. Oh, baby, get ready. Big week ahead. Listen, they could break them out. They could break these S&Ps out, and I'll be changing my tune, as you know I often do. So I'm bearish. This is bearish to me, but good news comes out. They pop them. They hold. Boom. Got to get long. But I think we fail. I think we roll over. I think the S&Ps, you could see it close at the end of the year around 1,100. Maybe 1,150. Something like that. Yeah, you know what? Maybe even 1,200. We go down. We come back up. You know, we're going to futz around in this 1,100 to 1,300, I guess. You know, the last week's high. Andrew Spanton, Global Markets Radio, the only voice you'll ever need who truly loves to make you money. Have a good week.